Greetings and empowered greetings, men of God. This is Dr. John L. Mack, and I'm coming back to share with you more information for your elevation and transformation. You know, there's a lot of things that we can discuss that's going to just strengthen us and empower us as men. And as I was just looking over all the different characteristics and components that God is looking for in what a godly man is, a legacy minded man is, it broke down to four distinct characteristics that God is looking for in every man. And coincidentally, these are the four things that women are looking for out of every man. And they are maturity, decisiveness, consistency, and strength. So let me just break each one of those down and then give you the opportunity to see where you fit in each one of those characteristics and what's going to be the most effective way for you to be able to upgrade and to move into improving in each one of those areas. Now, the first area that I mentioned was the area of maturity. A woman wants a mature man, but God wants a mature man, a man that is mature in all his ways. The word says, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I spake as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That means I became mature. I matured and came into a fullness, a ripeness, a completeness of my being. You know, a fruit that is not ripe is bitter to the taste, especially a persimmon. Now, I grew up in the country, and we would pick wild persimmons as we would walk up and down the dusty roads of in the panhandle of Florida. And we would pick these persimmons, and they would look like they were delicious. They were ready to eat, and we would bite into them, and it would tie your tongue. You would just be it was so bitter that you couldn't even talk after eating one of them. They were not mature. They were not ready. You know, we were reminded of the fact that Jesus, when he was walking along the path, he saw a fig tree and he realized, wow, this fig tree has fruit that is wonderful to eat. I'm ready to eat a fig. I want to just grab a fig off this tree. The leaves are green. It's the season of ripe fruit. I want a fig that will quench my thirst. There's something called the sin in the sand. That means when you're in the desert and you're thirsty and you're just parched and you come across an oasis. And that oasis gives you the chance to slack your thirst, to quench your thirst, to even refresh yourself by rinsing off and becoming cool all over. And when you walk out of that oasis and you're walking back into the desert and you see other people along the way that are thirsty and that need some satisfaction and you don't say anything, that's the sin in the sand. So what we want to do today is to tell you, number one, about the necessity of maturity, that you have to grow up into the fullness of the measure of a man so that you can be all that God has desired and designed you and drafted you to be. So the first step and the first thing that God is looking for in every man is maturity. That you act like a man, that you walk like a man, that you talk like a man, that you exhibit all of the qualities of what a man really should be. There's a lot of men, a lot of grown males that are chronologically grown, but psychologically, spiritually, mentally, they're still operating as children. They're not doing the things that a grown man would do. They're not operating from a level of maturity. They're operating from an immature level. And immaturity, especially in a relationship, causes confusion, causes frustration, causes destruction. It will destroy the relationship. And so many men are finding themselves divorcing or ending relationships or not being able to step up to the full quality of fatherhood and manhood that's necessary. Why? Because they're not fully mature. They haven't accepted that there's a progression from childhood to manhood in order to be able to be the man that God has called us to be. So maturity is the first and the key element in what the four core qualities God is looking for in a man. Now, the second quality is decisiveness. And all of these seem to be interwoven and working together synergistically. But each one of them individually is as important as the other. Now, this process of, or this concept of decisiveness is something that it caused me to sit back and ponder. You know, when presented with facts, when presented with the correct information, you're not now required to, and you're able to make a decision on what action to take, what activity is going to occur next. So when you look at that, decisiveness is something that's so very vital in a relationship. Somebody has to make a decision, and that decision has to be predicated with facts, emotion. It has to take into consideration all of the component parts that are going to be affected by that decision. If you're going to move, is the neighborhood going to be good for the kids? Are they going to be able to make new friends? Is the school going to be nice? Is it safe when you leave the home to go to work or to go on business trips? Will the family be safe? Those type of decisions and that decisiveness is what's so crucial to keeping a relationship together, to keeping a family together, even to keeping a community together. Because those decisions sometimes are beyond the family. Sometimes those decisions take place at work. Sometimes they take place at church. Sometimes they take place within the full family unit, beyond just your four and no more, but the entire family unit. The decisiveness that is required of every man is something that gives peace and security and serenity to the family, to the wife, to the children even. When they know that if dad makes a decision, dad gummit is a good one. It's one that's going to make sure that they have a quality of life, that they're going to be able to be protected, and that they'll be safe, and that they'll be secure, and that they'll have an option for greater, better tomorrows. So decisiveness is a key element in the whole component of what God is looking for in a man, and incredibly so, what females are looking for in their male counterpart, in their husbands, in their spouses, and what children are looking for in their parents. They want a man that's mature. They want a dad that's mature, that's able to make mature decisions that affect their lives. Because as a child, they don't have any real say-so over where they live, what cars they're going to drive, what home they're going to be in, what schools they attend. All of those decisions are made by someone else, the parent. And the mother and father working together synergistically is going to determine the welfare and the future and just the whole lifestyle of that child. So mature decisions are so very, very vital. Now, the next word in this four-phase quadrant is the word consistency. And as I unpack that, I began to realize that consistency is something that a wishy-washy. God says that he doesn't. A double-minded man will receive nothing. They will receive no benefit. Will receive no blessing. Why? Because if you're thinking over here and then you say, no, not over there, over here, that causes confusion. That causes frustration. So, brothers, it's important that you learn and you begin to exercise consistency in all that you do. When you're consistent, they know that you can be counted on. You can be trusted. When you're consistent, they know that your actions and your activity are going to be specific and that they can count on them. If all of a sudden you're accused of doing something out of character, out of the consistency model that you conveniently always display, then what happens? They'll say, no. Anybody, but no, Mr. Mack wouldn't do that. He's not the type of individual that would do that. That's not consistent with his character. So you have to look at how are you exercising consistency? Can they count on you to be the same? Let's talk about the consistency. Hebrews 13:8 says what? Jesus Christ the same yesterday, today, and forever. That means that you can look in the past and everything that he did was consistent. It was real. There was no variance. There was no wavering. You could count on it. You could set your clock by it because it was consistent. And today, he's the same he was today that he was yesterday. And guess what? Tomorrow it's going to be the same. You can count on it. You can mark your calendar by it. You can set your watch by it, because there's not going to be any variance, any shadow of turning. His consistency is going to be there on a regular and continual basis. So when you take consistency and when you match it with decisiveness, the decisions that a godly man makes are going to be consistent with what the word and what's best for his family, what's best for the community, what's best for the church, what's best for the job. The consistency is something that you can count on. And when you can count on something, that's an evidence of maturity. Now let's break down that final word, and that is strength. Most of us look at strength and they say, how much weight can you lift? How fast can you go? How many people can you block or knock down? How strong are you? How big are your muscles? But those aren't the things that really determine strength. Strength is the ability to be able to have delayed gratification. Strength is the ability to know that you can operate in integrity. And integrity is doing the right thing, even if it's not the best thing for you at the time. Integrity is doing what needs to be done, even if no one is watching, even if there's no one that's looking. That you would do the thing that's necessary. And it takes strength to do that. Because when you have an opportunity to skirt on your taxes, when you have an opportunity to cheat on your family, to cheat on your wife, when you have an opportunity to cheat on the job, pad your time clock, pad your expense account, and you have the opportunity to do it, that's weakness. But strength says, even though I can, even though it will enrich me financially, I still know that it's wrong. And I have the power, I have the strength of character, the strength of integrity to say no to things that are not appropriate, things that are not in the best interest of my integrity and the best interest of moving my family forward, the best interest of what is right. So that strength is more than just being strong enough to pick a heavy weight up. That strength is something that goes to the very core of our soul. It says, okay, I'm strong enough to be consistent, even when being consistent means that it's going to cost me, even when consistency means that I may not be able to advance as fast because I'm strong enough to do what's right. And what's right may mean foregoing a raise, may mean foregoing a blessing, may mean delaying gratification in areas that would be really, really good. See, strength is saying, even though I have to delay, even though I may not be able to go forward as fast or as rapidly as I really want to, the bottom line is this, that because I am exhibiting this strength, that the Lord is going to bless me in open what I'm doing in secret, what I'm doing from a position of strength to be able to stand my ground and to stand in the power of his might, in the power of his word. You see, the word tells us this, that that we are made strong in the power of his might, that in our weakness, he is made strong. And that because when we allow ourselves to come before him and bow before him and to submit ourselves, and that submission is not weakness. That submission is a sign of strength. It says, I realize, Father God, that you are stronger than me, that you know better than me. And so rather than me trying to push forward and make something happen, I'm going to allow you to bring forth what you want to happen. And because you do that, it will definitely bless not only me, but those around me. So gentlemen, those four areas, maturity, decisiveness, consistency, and strength will make all the difference in how you're perceived as a man of God, as a kingdom man, and as a legacy-minded man, a man that can leave a legacy for his children's children. And after all, that's what it's all about. Hey, again, this is Dr. John L. Mack. The L stands for legacy, which means letting excellence guide and control you. And when excellence guides you and controls you, the end result is blessing. Hey, thank you for listening. And we want to invite you to come back and get more of the information that we're providing for you for your transformation and your elevation. Have an awesome, awesome day.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you were blessed by the material. We also want to remind you that there are several great ways to make sure you're staying up to date on our content as part of our 360 Legacy Plan. First, subscribe to this channel by clicking subscribe below. You can also download our incredible new app in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Just search Legacy Minded Men. And finally, visit our website at legacymindedmen.org for more information on what we believe, upcoming events, and how to join a group. Thanks again for watching.